I walked into the kitchen and saw Alina scrolling through her phone, a faint frown on her face. "Everything okay?" I asked. She didn't look up. "Yeah, just tired. You've been tired a lot lately." I tried to keep my voice light, but there was a sharp edge beneath it. "Work stress." She shrugged, tapping her nails against the counter. "Maybe, I don't know." I moved closer. "Alina, I feel like you're pulling away. Talk to me." She finally glanced at me, eyes calm, almost distant. "I'm fine, Ethan, really." But her tone didn't match her eyes, and I knew it. Something had changed. Later that week, I noticed Ryan hovering a little too close whenever I was around Alina. "Everything good with you two?" I asked Ryan casually, though my stomach tightened. "Yeah," he said too quickly, his smile forced. "Just making sure she's happy. You know, I've always got her back." I forced a laugh. "Of course, thanks." But the unease didn't leave me. Every late-night text from Alina made my heart pound. She'd laugh at messages I couldn't see, sometimes smile at her phone in a way she hadn't with me in months. One night I couldn't sleep. I wandered into the living room and caught her. Half-hidden phone screen lighting up with a message preview. "Can't wait to see you tonight alone." I froze. My hands shook. I didn't want to see more, but I couldn't stop. The messages kept coming, each one worse than the last. My chest tightened, and I sat down hard. Trying to convince myself I was imagining things, the next morning I confronted her. "Alina, I saw the messages." Her eyes widened for a fraction of a second, but she recovered instantly. "Saw what?" she asked, voice casual to calm. "The texts." With him, a voice rose, disbelief and anger mixing. "I know you're hiding something from me." She sighed, like I was being ridiculous. "Ethan, you're overreacting. They're just friends." "That's all, friends?" My hands balled into fists. "Do friends send texts like these? Do friends meet secretly in the middle of the night?" She leaned back, arms crossed. The picture of calm. "Maybe you're just imagining things. Maybe you've been too busy with your work to notice reality." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Reality? "Alina, don't lie to me. Don't gaslight me when I'm asking for honesty." Ryan appeared behind her suddenly, as if on cue. "Hey, Ethan, what's going on?" His tone was smooth, practiced. I spun around. "What's going on?" "What's going on is that you two are hiding something from me." "Alina, how long?" Alina's eyes flicked to Ryan, a silent exchange I couldn't decipher. "Ethan, stop it. Just stop. Stop." "Stop what?" "Pretending everything's fine while you—" I swallowed hard. "While you betray me?" Ryan stepped forward, trying to calm me. "Ethan, it's not what you think. Not what I think." I laughed bitterly. "I saw the messages. I know exactly what I think." Alina's voice softened, almost sickly sweet. "I never meant to hurt you. But maybe we've grown apart. We've been so focused on your work, your dreams." I spat the word. "You mean while I built everything we have? Everything we had?" She looked away. "Maybe I just wanted more." The anger inside me flared, but underneath it I felt hollow. Hollow and shattered. The home I built, the life I believed in it, was cracking apart. And the people I trusted most were the ones pushing it apart. I turned to Ryan, voice shaking. "And you. You were supposed to be my friend. How long has this been going on?" His expression faltered just for a second. "Ethan, you didn't mean to betray me. You didn't mean to destroy me. You didn't mean to take the life I thought I had." My words felt sharp, but they didn't make me feel better. Alina stayed silent, her gaze fixed on the floor. Ryan opened his mouth, but I didn't listen. I couldn't. I walked out into the night, rain soaking through my clothes before I even realized it. I didn't care. Everything I thought I knew, every smile, every promise, it had been a lie. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. Love, the life I trusted. The bond I thought unbreakable had been betrayal wearing a smile. I didn't know how I would recover. I didn't know if I could. All I knew was that nothing would ever be the same again. I slammed the door behind me, chest heaving. "Alina, Ryan. Enough of this." Alina didn't even flinch. Ethan, calm down. You're overreacting. Overreacting. I took a step closer, fists clenched. You've been lying to me for months, and you have the audacity to tell me I'm overreacting. Ryan leaned against the wall, arms crossed, that smug grin I hated more than anything. Ethan, listen, I don't. Don't you dare speak. I shouted. My voice cracked, but I couldn't stop. Alina, explain this. Explain why I find messages, late-night meetings, secret calls, everything you promised me gone. She sighed and looked at me like I was a child throwing a tantrum. You're impossible. Maybe if you were around more, I wouldn't have had to. You wouldn't have had to… What? I felt heat rising in my chest. Betray me? Leave me? Pretend like I'm blind? Ryan finally moved, trying to place a hand on my shoulder. Ethan, please, calm down. Let's talk. I spun toward him, eyes wide. Talk. You think talking makes this okay? You knew I trusted both of you. You knew I believed in us. Alina stepped forward, voice soft, almost mocking. Ethan, maybe you're too focused on work. You never noticed what was happening in front of you. Laughed bitterly. Work. You think my hours at the office made me blind to your lies? You used my trust like it was nothing. Ryan's face flickered guilt, hiding behind arrogance, but he said nothing. You're not even pretending to feel sorry. I said to Alina, not even a word of remorse. I didn't want to hurt you, she whispered. But maybe we just grew apart. You were never really here. You were always somewhere else. I couldn't breathe. Somewhere else? You destroyed everything. Everything we had. And you blame me? She shrank back, and for the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. It's complicated, Ethan. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, I shouted. I trusted you both. And now my life is falling apart. Ryan took a step forward. Ethan, I can help fix this. Just let's calm down. I shook my head, my vision blurred. Fix this. You can't fix betrayal. You can't repair trust you've burned to ashes. Alina's voice cracked. Ethan, please don't make this worse. Worse? I spat the word. Do you know what worse is? Losing everything because the people you love decide to stab you in the back? Do you even care what you've done to me? Ryan's jaw tightened. I didn't mean… I stepped closer, chest heaving. Didn't mean to ruin my marriage? My business? My home? My life? Alina shook her head, tears finally glistening in her eyes. I never wanted it to go this far. Sorry doesn't cut it. I shouted. Sorry doesn't wake me up in the middle of the night feeling like I've been poisoned. Ryan glanced at her, then back at me. Ethan, we can fix this. I swear, I don't want your fixes. I shouted, my voice raw. I don't want either of you. I want my life back. I stormed out of the house, rain lashing against my face. I didn't care that my suit was soaked, my shoes ruined. The sky mirrored the storm inside me. Every step away from that house was a step into emptiness. I couldn't escape. I drove aimlessly for hours. My mind replayed every smile, every laugh, every promise that had been a lie. The office calls I ignored, the clients I trusted, they were gone now. Taken by Ryan while I was blindsided by betrayal, I parked in an empty lot. Rain pouring over the windshield and sat in silence. I didn't know how long I stayed there. Minutes? Hours? My phone buzzed, clients asking for updates. Angry, frustrated. I let it ring. I thought of my apartment empty. My career ruined. My marriage destroyed. The weight of it all pressed on me, a crushing force I couldn't shake. A car honked behind me. I didn't move. I didn't care. Sleep came finally, but it was uneasy, in the driver's seat of my own car. My dreams were haunted by their face, Selena smiling, Ryan, pretending nothing happened. I woke to the cold light of morning, still numb, still broken. Everything I had built, everything I had loved stripped away in one night of lies. And for the first time, I realized that love, the thing I had trusted most, could destroy me completely. I sat there in silence, staring at the rain-streaked window. trying to understand how I could ever trust again. And for the first time, I questioned if I wanted to. My phone buzzed on the dashboard while I sat in the same empty lot, staring at the rain-streaked windshield. I didn't expect anyone to contact me, not now, not ever. But the message caught my eye. We need to talk. You're not alone in this. I stared at the sender. Claire, Ryan's wife. I snorted bitterly. She must be crazy. I almost deleted it. Instead, I typed, "Why would I ever want to talk to you?" Her reply was almost immediate, "Because they deserve each other's misery. And maybe we deserve better." I blinked. My fingers hovered over the phone. Better? How can you even say that? "You're married to him, I know," she answered. "And I've been figuring that out too. But hiding it doesn't help anyone." I rubbed my face. I don't need help. I don't even know. Closure? Revenge? I don't even know what I want anymore. "I can see it in you," she said simply. "You're broken, but not defeated. You're still standing, Ethan. That counts for something." I laughed a hollow sound. "You have no idea what it feels like. Everything I worked for is gone. My wife, my business, my home, everything. And you're telling me I'm still standing?" "Because you are," she typed. "And because you can rise from this, you don't have to destroy yourself for them." Her words were strange, almost surreal. I wanted to punch something, to scream, to feel the pain in a tangible way, not through gentle words from a woman who should hate me. I typed back, biting my lip. "Why are you even talking to me? Shouldn't you be furious?" I was furious, she admitted. But anger doesn't fix anything. I don't want revenge. I want justice. And maybe someone to remind me I'm not alone in this mess. I stared at the phone, my chest tight. Justice or revenge? Is there really a difference? "There is," she typed quickly. "Revenge destroys you. Real justice restores you, gives you back control over your life." I shook my head, voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know if I can trust anyone anymore." "Maybe you can trust me," she replied. "Just a little. That's enough to start." Her calmness surprised me. There was no screaming, no blame, no bitterness, just quiet strength. I could feel it through her words. I typed back slowly, hesitating. "All right, I'll meet you. But don't think this makes us friends." "Not looking for friends," she said. "I'm looking for someone who understands what betrayal feels like and who might want to turn it into something better." I leaned back, closing my eyes. The rain tapped a steady rhythm on the car roof, as if urging me to listen. Against every instinct, I felt hope. A faint, terrifying hope. "Where do we meet?" I finally asked. "Downtown cafe? Half an hour? I'll be the one staring at the window, coffee untouched." I hesitated before starting the car. "Staring at the window, huh?" I muttered under my breath. "She's going to regret meeting me." 30 minutes later, I slid into a booth across from her. Claire didn't glare, didn't judge. She just looked at me, calm, composed, with a quiet fire in her eyes. "You're real," I said finally, unable to hide the disbelief in my voice. She smiled faintly. "I promised you honesty, Ethan. I'm not here to yell or accuse. I just see what they've done, and I see you." "See me?" I asked, suspicious. "You see a broken man?" "No," she said, leaning back. "I see potential. Strength buried under all this pain. You've been beaten, yes, but you're still standing. That matters." I shook my head. "I don't feel strong. I feel like everything's been taken from me. And that's why we're here," she said softly. "Because maybe we can take what's left and build something that's ours. Something they can't touch. Something real." I looked at her, and for the first time in weeks, "I didn't feel completely alone, maybe," I said slowly. "Maybe I need that even if I hate it." She reached for her cup, but didn't touch it. "You don't have to decide yet. Just consider it. Not revenge. Not anger. Just a start." I stared out the window, rain blurring the city lights, feeling a strange mix of fear and anticipation. Someone who should have hated me didn't. Someone who shared my pain was offering a hand, and somehow I wanted to take it. I met Claire at the cafe again, the one with the faint smell of coffee and old books. She was already there, notebook open, pen poised. "You're late," she said, eyes sharp but not unkind. "Traffic," I muttered, sliding into the seat. My hands still shook slightly. She raised an eyebrow. "Sure, traffic at this hour. Sit. We need to start somewhere." "Start where?" I asked, suspicious. "Anywhere," she said simply. "Talk. Not about revenge. Not about Ryan or Alina. Just you." I hesitated. "Me. What's there to say?" "Exactly," she replied. "Everything's gone. You're staring at an empty canvas. Pain, betrayal's all blank. Let's see if we can sketch something back." I laughed bitterly. "You make it sound easy." "It's not easy," she said, "but it's necessary." For the first hour, we didn't even talk about them. We talked about small things, how I ended up in the city, what I liked to do before all this. My voice was rough, but she listened without interrupting. "You're still human," she said after a long pause. "You're just battered. That's all." "Battered feels like it's permanent," I said. "It's not," she replied. "It's temporary if you want it to be. You can rebuild, Ethan, but you have to want it." "Rebuild what?" "I lost everything," I muttered, staring at my hands. "Not everything." "Not yet," she said softly. "You have skills, ambition, drive. Those aren't gone. They're just waiting for a chance." It swallowed hard. "I don't know if I have the strength." "You do?" she said firmly. "Strength isn't never breaking. It's finding a way to stand again after you do." Over the next few weeks, we met almost daily. She helped me organize my life again. "You need a place to stay," she said one evening. "Somewhere stable." "I can help with that." "You're serious?" I asked. "Completely," she said. "You can't think straight living in your car." I shook my head. "I can't believe I'm trusting you." "You already are," she said, smiling faintly. "You just don't know it yet." She helped me rebuild my resume, update my skills. "You have more to offer than you think," she said. "Don't sell yourself short." I grumbled, but I listened. Each small victory felt strange, like a muscle I hadn't used in years. One evening, we walked the streets under city lights. I felt the quiet hum of life around us, distant from the chaos I'd left behind. "Do you ever stop blaming them?" I asked. Claire looked at me, calm and composed. "Blame is easy. It doesn't help. You can stew in anger, or you can use it to fuel something better." "Something better?" "Your life," she said. "Your future. Don't destroy yourself for people who already lost themselves." I stared at the lights reflecting on the wet pavement. Her words settled into me. Slowly, I realized she was right. I wasn't broken, I was unfinished. "Unfinished," I repeated softly. "Yes," she said. "And unfinished means there's room to grow, to rise, to create something they'll regret underestimating." A small smile tugged at my lips. "You make it sound almost possible." "It is," she said. "But you need to start thinking bigger than payback. That's not satisfying. Real satisfaction comes from showing them you're unstoppable anyway." I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt a strange mix of gratitude and awe. She didn't just understand my pain, she mirrored the potential I couldn't see in myself anymore. "All right," I said, determination creeping into my voice. "Let's start then. Step 1. "Good," she said, eyes sparkling. "Step 1 is believing you can. The rest will follow." For the first time since everything collapsed, I felt something I hadn't in months. Control. Not over them, not over the past, but over myself. "Okay," I whispered, almost to myself. "Let's rebuild. Not just survive, but rise." Claire smiled, calm and unwavering. "That's the spirit, Ethan. And don't worry, we'll do it together. You're not alone anymore." I exhaled, letting the tension leave me for the first time. I wasn't healed yet, but I was ready to fight again. And for the first time in a long time, I believed in a future that wasn't defined by their betrayal. "Are you sure about this?" I asked Claire as we sat across from each other in the tiny rented office space, paper cups of coffee sweating in our hands. "I'm sure," she said. tapping a folder filled with contacts and proposals. We have the knowledge, the network, and the drive. What we lack is capital, but I know someone who can help. I raised an eyebrow. Someone? Lucas, my cousin, she replied. He's a silent investor. Believes in people, not just numbers. I nodded slowly. All right, but we're doing this together. No secrets, no one taking control without the other. Agreed, she said, smiling faintly. Equal partners. Always. I exhaled, the tension in my shoulders easing for the first time in weeks. Then let's start building. Something real. Something ours. For the first month, it was all chaos and caffeine. Claire handled meetings with suppliers, contracts, and investors while I focused on design sketches, prototypes, and technical planning. You can't do it that way, she said one evening. Pointing at a drawing I'd spread across the table. Why not? It's more efficient, I replied. Efficient doesn't mean sustainable, she countered firmly. We're building a reputation. One mistake, and people will forget the designs, they'll remember the failure. I leaned back, rubbing my eyes. You're right. Of course you're right, good, she said, smirking. Now redo it before Lucas sees it tomorrow. I groaned, but secretly, I thrived in the pressure. Every night I left the office exhausted but alive. For the first time since the betrayal, I felt purpose. One morning Maya, my assistant, arrived with a stack of resumes. I've filtered the best candidates, she said, eyes bright. We need people who believe in the mission, not just the paycheck. You always think about the team, I said, impressed. I like that, Maya shrugged. Someone has to. And I believe in your vision, Ethan. Don't let them break you again. I smiled, faintly grateful. Thanks, that means a lot. Claire walked in, reviewing a contract on her tablet. Ethan, Lucas is coming tonight. He wants to see the prototypes before he invests. Make sure everything is ready. I ran my hand through my hair. Ready is relative, but we'll do it. By evening, Lucas arrived, calm and observant. He examined every detail with an analytical eye. You two complement each other, he said finally. Ethan, your designs are strong. Claire, your management is solid. I'm in, but I want regular updates and full transparency. Of course, Claire said immediately. I nodded, a mixture of relief and excitement coursing through me. You won't regret this. As weeks passed, our company grew quietly but steadily. Clients noticed, investors noticed, even local media started to take interest. Every small victory felt like a spark against the darkness Ryan and Alina had left behind. One day, as I returned from a meeting, Claire greeted me with a grin. Rumor mill is buzzing. People are talking about us. Good or bad? I asked, curious but wary. Good, she said. They thought we were broken. They thought we'd disappear. Now they're noticing the comeback. And I heard Ryan's listening. I laughed bitterly. Let him. Let them all see. I don't care anymore. You should, Claire said gently. They need to realize what they lost. But that's secondary. Our priority is growth, not revenge. I looked at her, eyes softening. You're incredible. You know that? She shook her head. I'm not doing this for praise. I'm doing it because I believe in the work hand in you. The office buzzed around us. Maya checked spreadsheets. Interns discussed project deadlines, and I reviewed designs on my tablet. The chaos felt alive. A heartbeat against the quiet despair I'd carried for months. I never thought I'd feel like this again, I admitted quietly. Feel what? She asked, alive, purposeful, not broken? Not defeated, Claire smiled. Just a hint. That's the goal, Ethan. And trust me, we're just getting started. Later that night, as I left the office, city lights reflecting off wet streets, I felt it, the fire of determination returning. People who had pitied me now watched silently as my life rebuilt itself. Alina, Ryan, they couldn't touch this. This was ours, and as Claire's voice echoed in my mind, don't destroy yourself for people who already lost themselves, I realized I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was rising, and they would see it. The buzz in the convention hall was electric. lights reflecting off polished floors. The chatter of investors and media mixing into a low hum. I adjusted my tie, though it barely mattered. Di didn't need it to feel confident anymore. Claire leaned beside me, tablet in hand. "Ethan, the press is interested. They love what we're doing." "I know," I said, scanning the crowd. "It feels surreal." "You earned it," she said softly. "Don't forget that." I nodded but didn't answer. My eyes caught a familiar face across the room. Ryan. He froze mid-step, a drink in hand as if he hadn't expected me to exist here. He blinked, mouth opening slightly. Then he forced a smile and walked toward me. "Ethan," he said, voice too bright. "It's good to see you." I tilted my head, my own smile, calm, controlled. "Ryan?" I let the name hang, tasting the bitterness that had once consumed me. "You've done well," he said, struggling to mask shock. "Your company, this project, it's impressive." "Thank you," I said. "It took time." He extended his hand awkwardly. I hope we can move past everything. Forget the past." I looked at the hand for a moment, then simply smiled, a polite curve of my lips. "I don't forget, Ryan. I just outgrow it." He frowned slightly, clearly unsure whether I was mocking him or sincere. I didn't give him a chance to guess. I turned and walked away, each step deliberate, echoing against the marble floors. Claire appeared beside me quietly. "Handled perfectly," she whispered. I exhaled, tension leaving my shoulders. It's strange. I thought I'd want to say something hurtful. But I don't. He's not worth it. "And neither is she," Claire added. "Alina. She's gone." I nodded, recalling the news that had reached me the previous week. Alina's affair scandal had leaked publicly. Her reputation in shreds. People I didn't even know were whispering, judging. I didn't feel vindictive. I felt indifferent. "Life," Claire said softly, glancing around. "It has a way of balancing things." "Balance," I repeated, letting the words settle. It felt strange, almost foreign. I had chased revenge for months in my mind, replaying betrayals, imagining payback. Now life had done it quietly, efficiently. A reporter approached, mic in hand. "Ethan, your breakthrough project, how did you achieve such rapid success after starting so small?" I smiled calmly. "Persistence. Hard work. Surrounding yourself with people who believe in the mission, not the drama." She nodded, scribbling notes. "Any lessons for young entrepreneurs facing betrayal?" I considered it, then said simply, "Don't waste energy on revenge. Build something greater instead. Let the work speak for you." After the interview, I stepped outside into the evening air, the city lights twinkling like distant stars. Claire appeared beside me, her presence grounding. "You're different," she said quietly. "Calm, strong. You've outgrown the chaos." I chuckled softly. It took losing everything to understand what matters. I was trapped in anger for so long. But now I gestured to the skyline, to the hum of life continuing around us. Now I see it. I'm not defined by them, by their lies, by their betrayal. "You've mastered restraint," she said. "Inner power, not domination. That's the real transformation." I nodded slowly, taking a deep breath. It feels good. Peaceful, even. I used to think happiness was revenge. Now I see it's freedom. Freedom from them. From their shadows. From my own resentment. Claire smiled just faintly. "Exactly. You don't destroy people. You outgrow them. That's power. And it's satisfying," I said, letting a smile curve my lips. Not loud. Not dramatic. Quiet, but undeniable. She nudged me gently. "Let's head back. Investors are waiting. Opportunities won't pause for reflection." I laughed softly. "Right. Let's go build the next thing. The empire they never imagined." We walked back inside, side by side, a storm of confidence moving through me. Every whisper, every glance, every doubt that had haunted me seemed distant now. I wasn't broken. I wasn't bitter. I was focused, alive. It's unstoppable. Somewhere in the back of my mind I thought of Ryan, of Alina, of the emptiness they had left. A quiet satisfaction warmed me, not revenge, not gloating, but recognition. Life had handled them. Karma didn't need my help. All I needed now was the future. And Claire was there, steady, guiding, challenging me, believing when I had doubted. Together, we were no longer just survivors. We were builders, creators, unstoppable in our resolve. I glanced at her as we entered the hall again, the lights and energy pulsing around us. "Ready?" I asked. "Always," she said, and for the first time, I believed it. My phone buzzed late at night, the screen lighting up a dark, empty apartment. I frowned at the name flashing Ryan. My heart skipped, then sank. I answered cautiously. "Ryan, Ethan," he slurred, voice thick with liquor and desperation. I need your help. Please." I leaned back in my chair, gripping the armrest. "Help with what?" "Alina. She left me. Someone else." I can't. His words stumbled, tripping over each other, raw and messy. I stayed silent, listening. My old self might have reached for comfort, might have offered pity or advice. But that version of me no longer existed. "Ryan," I said finally, calm but firm. I listened. He paused, a whine of panic behind the line. I don't know what to do. I lost everything. Please, Ethan, please." I exhaled slowly. "I forgave you," I said, voice steady, almost cold. "But that doesn't mean I owe you anything. I don't owe you my time, my energy, or my sympathy." There was a long silence. Then a soft, defeated, I understand. I hung up. The line went dead, leaving only the faint hum of the city outside my window. My hands rested on my knees. I didn't feel satisfaction, not pleasure in his despair. I felt free. Claire appeared behind me quietly, leaning against the doorframe. "Everything okay?" she asked softly. I shrugged, managing a faint smile. "He called. Needed help. Wanted me to fix what he broke, and I didn't," I said simply. "Not this time. Not anymore." She stepped closer, wrapping a hand around mine. "It's strange, isn't it? How the people who hurt us the most also push us to become stronger?" I nodded, staring out at the city lights shimmering through the balcony glass. It's ironic. The pain was unbearable, but without it, I'd still be lost, stuck in the past, waiting for someone else to fix me. Claire leaned against the railing beside me, silent for a moment. Then she said, "Forgiveness isn't about them, Ethan. It's about freeing yourself." I closed my eyes, the cool night air brushing my face. I used to think forgiving meant forgetting, that I had to feel compassion for them. But now I exhaled, long and slow. It's just about letting go. Letting go of the anger, the obsession, the need to control the past. "Exactly," she said softly. "You don't need to carry their mistakes. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You just live." I opened my eyes and looked at her, seeing clarity in her calm expression. "I think I finally get it," I admitted. "I don't need revenge. I don't need to dwell. I just need to move forward. And not just move forward, thrive." She smiled faintly, a mix of pride and reassurance. "And you will. You're already doing it." I let the silence stretch between us. The city below alive with lights and distant sirens. For the first time in months, I didn't feel hollow. I didn't feel broken. I felt complete in my incompleteness. "You know," I said after a long pause, voice low, reflective. "For years, I thought losing everything meant I was cursed. But maybe it was a gift. A painful, brutal gift." Claire chuckled softly. "It's the kind that teaches you what really matters. You've learned it, Ethan. You've survived, and now you're thriving." I leaned back against the railing, staring at the horizon. I don't feel anger anymore. Not at Ryan, not at Alina, not at the past. "And that's liberation," she said. I let the words sink in, feeling a weight lift from my chest. "Liberation," I repeated, smiling faintly. "I forgive them, not for them, but for me."
Ow!
Claire nudged me gently, her presence grounding me. "Good," Because your story isn't about them anymore. It's about you. About what you're building. About who you're becoming. I nodded, feeling warmth spread through me. Then I'm done with ghosts. The past is theirs to bear. The future is mine. We stood together on the balcony, the city lights glimmering like promises, and I felt it, the quiet, steady pulse of freedom. I wasn't chained to betrayal anymore. I wasn't defined by heartbreak. I had let go. And for the first time, I truly believed that letting go was the strongest move I could make. The auditorium buzzed with anticipation, a low hum of voices and camera clicks. I stood backstage, adjusting my suit, hands tight around the podium's edge. Claire appeared beside me, calm and composed. "Are you nervous?" she asked, tilting her head. "A little," I admitted. "Not about the speech, about what it might feel like to finally face this moment." "Oh." She smiled faintly. "Then focus on what matters. Not them, not the past. The people who believed in you, the journey you've taken. That's what counts." I nodded, taking a deep breath. "You're right. Always right." The announcer called my name. I stepped forward, the stage lights warm and blinding. Faces blurred, cameras flashing. I could feel the weight of every expectation. Every doubt I had ever carried. "Ladies and gentlemen," I began, voice steady, despite the tremor in my chest. "Today, I want to talk about resilience, about rising after betrayal, about finding strength when everything around you crumbles." A soft murmur ran through the audience. I glanced at Claire, her eyes steady on mine, filled with pride rather than pity. That gave me courage. "Life has a way of testing us," I continued, letting my words flow. "Some people will disappoint you. Some will betray you. But it's not about them. It's about how you respond. How you take the ruins they leave behind and build something meaningful." A reporter scribbled notes at the front row, but I ignored everything except the people listening. I've learned that pain can be a foundation. Betrayal can be a teacher. And strength is not found in revenge. It's found in rising despite it. Claire's hand brushed mine briefly. I looked at her, grateful. "You know," I said quietly, almost to myself, "I wouldn't be here without her." Her smile was soft, understanding. "I know," she whispered back. I straightened, projecting my voice, letting every syllable carry conviction. "Some of you might have faced heartbreak, loss, deceit. I've been there. I've felt powerless. I've felt the walls close in. But I promise you, this what breaks you can also build you. If you allow it, if you rise, if you refuse to let the past define your future." The applause started small, then swelled. I glanced at the crowd, seeing faces of hope, curiosity, inspiration, and there in the middle, Claire, my partner, my anchor, my redemption. She wasn't just cheering for me. She was cheering for everything we had survived, everything we had rebuilt together. After the speech, reporters crowded around. Cameras clicked, flashes blinding. "Mr. Ethan, can you comment on your journey from near collapse to now?" I smiled. "The journey isn't about collapse or revenge. It's about learning, growing, and finding the people who help you rebuild. Surround yourself with those who lift you, not those who drag you down." Another reporter asked, "Did betrayal motivate you?" I shook my head slowly. "No. Betrayal taught me lessons, yes. But motivation comes from vision, purpose, and the people who believe in you. That's what builds empires, not resentment." Later, as the crowd thinned, Claire appeared beside me again. "You did it," she said softly. "Every word, every moment, you were unstoppable." I exhaled, letting the tension leave me. "I finally understand what you meant," I said quietly. "Pain, it can build empires." She smiled, a quiet, proud smile. "They thought they broke you, Ethan, but look at what they built instead." I looked out the window of the auditorium, city lights twinkling, feeling the pulse of life around me. Ryan, Alina, they were whispers of the past now, their worlds unraveling while ours rose. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't malice. It was life correcting itself. "You know," I said, turning to Claire. I used to define myself by their betrayal. Now, I define myself by what I've built. She nodded. And you've built something they can never touch. I laughed softly, a sound full of relief and triumph. An empire. From ruins, from pain, from the very people who thought they could break me. She squeezed my hand gently. You didn't just survive, Ethan. You transformed. And now nothing can stop you. I leaned back, letting the weight of everything fall away. The applause from earlier still echoed faintly in my ears. The city outside pulsed with possibility. For the first time, I felt completely free from the past. Free from their shadows, free to create, to lead, to rise. And as I watched Claire smile, knowing we had done this together, I realized that everything they took from me had only made me stronger. They thought they broke me, but they built the foundation of everything I am now. The bell above the cafe door chimed as I stepped inside, though the place was quiet, nearly empty. The smell of coffee and old wood brought memories I hadn't thought of in years. I sank into a corner booth, staring at the worn table where Alina and I had shared our first conversation. A soft voice broke my reverie. Ethan. I looked up. No one was there. Just my own thoughts echoing through the empty space. I exhaled, letting the tension leave me. Years ago, I would have been furious, consumed by betrayal, anger, and regret. Now I felt only calm, only clarity. I whispered to myself, almost inaudible, "Thank you for breaking me." I smiled, the first smile in a long time that was completely mine. Not forced, not defensive, pure. I remembered the chaos, the lies, the stolen trust, the nights spent in a car wondering if I would ever feel safe again. But each moment of pain had led me here to this quiet corner where nothing hurt, nothing demanded, nothing needed repair. My phone buzzed. "Claire, where are you?" Her text was simple, but I could almost hear her voice in the words curious, patient. "Waiting," I typed back. "Right where it all started, but walking toward where it all ends." She replied instantly with a smile emoji. I laughed softly, shaking my head. She always knew how to make me feel lighter, even from afar. I sipped my coffee slowly, letting the warmth anchor me. I thought about Alina, not about hatred, not about revenge, not about what could have been. She was a chapter, nothing more, nothing less, and I was whole. I had everything I needed: purpose, freedom, Claire by my side, and the knowledge that I had risen without destroying anyone. A barista approached with a polite smile. "Can I get you anything else?" "No, thank you," I said. "This is perfect." As I looked out the window, watching people pass by, life moving in its quiet, relentless rhythm, I realized how small the past had become, like dust scattered by the wind. It was visible only if I squinted. I thought about Ryan, about Alina, about all the nights I had spent spinning anger into imagined revenge. It seemed almost foolish now, but necessary then. Without that darkness, I wouldn't have appreciated the light. The city lights began to flicker as dusk approached, orange and pink streaks painting the sky. I stood, pulling my coat tighter around me. I left a small tip on the table, silent acknowledgement to the place that held a fragment of my past. Outside, the air was crisp, the evening alive with possibility. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of old wounds lift entirely. They had tried to break me, but the truth was they had built the foundation of everything I am now. My phone buzzed again. "Claire, are you coming?" "Almost," I typed, smiling. Walking toward the future, I started down the street, each step light, each movement confident. The buildings, the people, the city itself felt like a canvas, and I was no longer constrained by the brushstrokes of betrayal or the smudges of past mistakes. I whispered again, this time with a laugh in my voice. "I've won not by fighting, but by rising." I didn't need validation. I didn't need revenge. I didn't even need closure from them. I had it all already in my work, in my choices, in the peace of knowing exactly who I had become. The wind tugged gently at my coat, carrying the faint scent of coffee and rain-soaked streets. I felt alive, untethered, and fully myself. Every step I took was a reminder that the past no longer controlled me, that the ghosts I feared had been exorcised by my own resilience. I stopped for a moment, looking back at the cafe, letting the memory linger. Then I turned fully forward, walking toward Claire, toward tomorrow, toward everything I had built, and for the first time in years. My heart felt light, free, whole. I had won, not by hurting them, not by revenge, not by begging the world to acknowledge my pain. I had won by rising, by becoming unstoppable, by choosing life. The office hummed softly with life phones ringing, keyboards tapping, quiet conversations floating in the background. I leaned against my desk, watching the team move like a well-oiled machine. Claire appeared beside me, a warm smile lighting her face. "They're doing great," I said, nodding toward the staff. "They always do when you let them," she replied, teasing, but her eyes held pride. I laughed softly. "Let them because you taught me how. You taught me how to build without burning, to lead without controlling." She chuckled. "I just reminded you of what you already had inside. You just needed a reason to believe in it." I shook my head, smiling. "I don't think I'll ever forget the nights I spent alone, thinking the world had turned against me. You know, sleeping in a car, wondering if I'd ever get back up." Claire placed a hand on my shoulder. "You did get up. You chose to get up. That's why you're here now." I exhaled, looking out at the city skyline from my office window. People often ask me how I forgave them, how I moved on from Alina, from Ryan. "And what do you tell them?" she asked, curious. I turned to her, a soft smile tugging at my lips. "I tell them you can't erase pain. You can't forget it. But you can make it worth something. You can use it to build, not destroy." She nodded, as if she already knew the truth in that. "And you've done exactly that, Ethan. You didn't just survive. You built something better. Not just a company, but a life." I glanced at the framed photos on my desk, our team celebrating milestones. Charity events we hosted, letters from people whose lives had changed because of what we created. I never imagined we'd come this far. That the betrayal that almost destroyed me would become the foundation for helping others. Claire smiled softly, resting a hand on mine. "It's more than a company now. It's a sanctuary. It's a place for people to rise after falling, to find hope after heartbreak." I leaned back in my chair, letting the memory of all those years wash over me. "Do you remember when we started in that tiny studio? It's just a couple of broken people with a dream." "I do," she said, laughing lightly. "And look at us now, from ashes to this empire." I shook my head, a mixture of disbelief and pride filling me. "Empire isn't the right word, though, is it? It's a life rebuilt, a legacy of resilience, not power." She nodded. "Exactly. That's what people respond to. Strength isn't found in revenge, it's found in rebuilding." I smiled, letting the thought settle in. I finally get it now. For so long, I wanted them to feel my pain, to understand what they caused. But revenge, it's hollow. Rebuilding, helping others, thriving, that's the true victory. A young intern passed by, nervously holding a folder. "Mr. Ethan, the program for the new mentorship group is ready for review." I took the folder, glancing through it.
Ow.
My chest swelled with pride. "This is exactly why we do what we do," I said, handing it back. "To give people a chance to rise even when the world has knocked them down." Claire leaned in, whispering softly, "And we rise with them." Together I nodded, feeling warmth spread through me. Together, it's the difference. We built something no betrayal could ever take away. Something lasting. Something real. She squeezed my hand. And the best part? This is just the beginning. I looked around the office, at the faces of the people who believed in the vision, and I realized she was right. Every failure, every heartbreak, every sleepless night had led us here. Betrayal had not been my end. It had been my beginning. I turned back to Claire, my eyes bright. "You know, I used to think I needed closure from them, from the past. Now I see it differently. The closure was never theirs to give. It was mine to take." "And you took it," she said softly, her voice steady, confident. "Yes," I said, smiling fully this time. "And now, every person we help, every life we touch, it's proof that we did more than survive. We built an empire from trust, hope, and second chances. Claire laughed lightly. That's far better than revenge, isn't it? I nodded, looking out at the city once more. Much better, stronger. True victory doesn't come from hurting others. It comes from rising, from building, from making something lasting from the pieces they tried to destroy. I took a deep breath, feeling the calm certainty of my own strength. Betrayal had shaped me, but it hadn't defined me. I had defined myself, and now I could finally say, with no fear, no doubt, and full heart, I had risen.